everyone, welcome to By Goldenberry. I'm Tina, and this tutorial is to show you how to make your own produce bags to take with you shopping. We're going to be working through my V for Veggies produce bag crochet pattern, which has this lovely V-shape mesh around the body and a tighter stitch along the bottom, and a drawstring with a button to keep everything secure. What you'll need for this tutorial is about 25 grams or 140 yards of lace weight yarn. I'm going to be using hemp, but you can use anything you like. I would suggest something plant-based, either organic cotton or linen as a replacement if you don't have hemp. A 2.5mm crochet hook, a darning needle, a button for the closure, and it just needs to have 2 holes in it, so you can use a toggle if you like instead. A stitch marker, I'm going to be using a paper clip, some scissors, and a small amount of DK weight yarn for the drawstring. We're going to start off by chaining 50. Now you can use stitch markers to do this, to make it easier if you like, to count them up at the end. So you could mark every 10 and then count them up to 50. So we'll just start that. This tutorial assumes that you know all the basics, like how to hold your crochet hook, how to make a slip stitch, how to chain, and some of the basic stitches. If you're not sure about any of that, then go and find my beginner tutorials that explains everything to do with that. So we'll start by chaining 50. So that's 1, 2, 3, 4. 49, 50. So this size is to make a medium-sized produce bag. The full pattern includes a larger size and a small size as well. If you want those 2 sizes, then you can find the full PDF pattern on my website, or Etsy, Ravelry and Lovecrafts. But this is to make the medium size. So once we've chained 50, we'll start our first round by chaining 2. Now you can mark this first stitch just to keep an eye on it, because that's where we're going to make our first crochet stitch. So we'll chain 2 to start the round, and this chain 2 counts as a stitch. So we'll double crochet into that marked stitch here. So that's the 3rd chain from the hook. We'll double crochet into there. If you're not sure how to double crochet, please go and find my tutorial on that. We can remove the stitch marker and then carry on double crocheting until we get to the last stitch. So we'll just continue like that all the way till the end. So meet me back here when you get to the last stitch. So we've reached the last stitch, and we're just going to make our final double crochet into that last chain. And then we're going to make 5 more double crochets into the last chain. So we'll have 6 in there all together. So let's do that. And as we do that, it kind of twists round on its own. So you can see we have 6 in there. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. And we're going to pivot our work this way so that we're working along the underside of the foundation chain. So we'll carry on double crocheting all along that underside until we get to the last stitch again. So we've already worked in this one, so we'll continue into the next one here. And just keep going until we get to the last stitch again. We're at the last stitch. If you can see here, this is our first double crochet of round 1, and this is our chain 2 here. So this would be our last chain of the round. So we'll just make our last double crochet into there. And we're going to make 3 more double crochets into that last chain. So we'll do that. So that's 1, 2, and 3. So altogether it adds up to 6, like the other side. So this is our first, so this is a chain 2 that counts as a stitch. This is our first double crochet of the round, and then we have 4 more on this side. 1, 2, 3, 4. So we have 6 altogether in that last chain. To finish this round, we're going to slip stitch into the top of the chain 2. So if we look at it really closely, this tiny one here, that's our first chain, and this is our second chain. This here is the top of the double crochet. So we want to slip stitch into this one here, and we want to go through both loops. So make sure you pick up both top loops there, like that, and slip stitch. And that finishes round 1. So we have kind of like an oblong shape that's curved at the edges. So we'll start round 2 by chaining 2 again. And this time we're going to double crochet into the same stitch as the chain 2 to start with. So we're going to double crochet here. So that's our first double crochet in there. And then we're going to make 2 double crochets into the next stitch. So this one. And then we're going to double crochet all the way along 48 stitches. So let's start that. If you find it easier to count the stitches first and then put the marker in at the end so you know when to stop, or just carry on double crocheting and then count them up until you get to 48. Whichever way is easier for you, it's fine. So just meet me back here when you reach 48 double crochets. 48 stitches brings us to the rounded corner where we have 6 double crochets in that one stitch, and we're going to do 2 double crochets into each of these 6 stitches. So that's 1, 2 into the same stitch, and again we'll do this 6 times So just double check that you have 2 stitches in each of the 6 stitches of the previous round. So that's 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. And then we pivot again and start working along this edge. Now we're kind of working in rounds, so we'll continue along this side doing double crochet, 1 double crochet into each stitch. Again, we'll be doing 48 stitches until we get to the other side. We have 48 stitches on the other side now, and we're going to now do 2 double crochet stitches into the next 4 stitches, which will take us to the end. So continue along doing 2 double crochets into the next 4 stitches. So that's 1, 2, 3, and 4. And this is what it looks like at the end of round 2. And we're going to slip stitch into the top of chain 2 again, like we did on the first round. So this is your first chain here, and that's your second. Again, we want to be going through both loops. There we go. So that's the end of round 2. And again, it's just like an oblong with curved edges. At this point, you should have 120 double crochet stitches all the way around. So beginning round 3, we're going to chain 2 again. Double crochet into the first stitch like normal, not like round 2. So this is our first stitch here. We're just going to double crochet straight into that one. And then carry on double crocheting all the way around. Until you get to the end, and at the end you will slip stitch into the chain 2 again, like we've been doing. And round 4 is going to be the same as round 3. So we'll just do 2 rounds of double crochet into each stitch all the way around, and slip stitch into the beginning chain 2. So meet me back here when you're done, when you've completed round 4. Okay, we've completed round 4, and again it looks like a little boat. It's curling a bit, but it doesn't really matter. It doesn't make any difference. So you should still have 120 stitches all the way around. So we'll begin round 5, and we need to start by chaining 4, 3, 4, and this counts as the first treble of this round. We're going to skip the next 4 stitches. So this is 1, 2, 3, 4, and we'll be working into the 5th stitch here. And what we're going to be doing is we're going to be doing our V stitches, the stitch that makes the V pattern all the way around the body of the bag. And to make the V-stitch, we're going to be doing a treble, 3 chains, and then another treble. So just a quick recap of a treble. We'll wrap around the hook twice, insert our hook into the stitch, yarn over again, and pull through. Then we yarn over again, pull through 2, yarn over, pull through 2, yarn over, pull through 2. So that's our first treble there. And then we're going to chain 3, 2, 3, and do another treble into the same stitch as the first treble. There we go. So that's our first V-stitch. And you can see it's got this nice little V shape going on. So we're going to repeat that pattern all the way to the end. So we're going to miss 4 stitches, 1, 2, 3, 4, and work into the 5th stitch, doing our V-stitch, 1, 2, 3, and then another treble into the same stitch, and again the same, miss 4 stitches, 2, 3, 4, and work into the 5th, one, 2, 3, and then another treble into the same stitch. Okay, so we'll just continue like that all the way around. Meet me back here when you get to the end. We're near the end of round 5. We have 23 V stitches so far. So if you count up your V stitches, you should have 23 at this point. So we're going to make our final V stitch by making a last treble crochet into the last stitch of the previous round. So if we look closely, that's here. So this is our chain 2 of the previous round, and this was our last stitch. So we'll make a last treble crochet into there, chain 3, and then slip stitch into the top of this chain 4. So 1, 2, 3, 4. Slip stitch into there, and that makes our last V stitch. So at the end of round 5, you should have 24 V's all together. So just make sure, just go around and make sure that they're all fully formed V shapes, because sometimes it's really easy to just miss a treble. So that's okay. So we have 24 V stitches at the end of round 5. Moving on to round 6, we're going to start by slip stitching into this space here, just to bring us a bit further along and put us in the right spot for making our first treble. So we're going to start by chaining 7 here. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. This counts as our first treble crochet and chain 3 of this round. So we'll do another treble into the same space where we slip stitched, and that makes our first V stitch. So now we're going to be working our V stitches into the space in between the V stitches of the previous round. So we're going to work our next V stitch here, into this space here. So we'll start our first treble, put our hook into the space, yarn over, pull through, finish the treble, chain 3, and make another treble into that same space. And now we have 2 V's on round 6. And we'll carry on like that all the way around, working our V stitches into the spaces in between until we get to the end. So we'll carry on. And meet me back here when you've completed this round, when you've got to the end. I've come to the end of round 6 and I've reached where I crocheted 7 chains for the first V-stitch. And what we're going to do to finish off this round is we're going to slip stitch into the 4th chain of that chain 7. So this is the first one here. So 1, 2, 3. 4. So we'll slip stitch into there, and then that finishes that round. So it makes it a nice seamless V pattern all the way around. So again, just check that you have 24 V's. So we're counting the V's like this: 1, 1, 2. We're not counting the space in the middle. So 1, 2, 3, 4, and just make sure you have 24 all the way around and that they're all fully formed V's. I don't know how many times I've done this and found halfway down that I've missed something and had to redo it. So we're going to move on to round 7. We're going to start again by chaining 4. 1, 2, 3, 4. And that counts as the first treble. We're going to V-stitch into the first space here. And when we get to the end, we'll finish this V at the end of the round. So we'll start the next V here. So that's our first V. And we'll continue all the way around, the same as we did before, working our V-stitches into the space, all the way around for round 7. So meet me back here when you get to the end and we'll finish that first or the last V here together. I've reached the end and we've come to the bit where I've chained 4 at the beginning. And what we're going to do is we're going to finish this V off to finish the round. So we're going to make another treble into this space here where the chain 4 comes from. And we're going to chain 3. And then slip stitch into the top of this chain 4. So that's 1, 2, 3, 4. And that finishes the round. And again, we'll have 24 V stitches all the way around. And we're going to continue that round. We're just going to repeat that last round until we get to round 22. So altogether you'll have 18 rounds of V-stitches. So continue like that until you get to round 22. and meet me back here. Okay, so we now have a nearly finished bag. We have 18 rounds of V-stitches, 22 rounds altogether, and you just need to fasten off, make a knot in the end so it doesn't come apart. And the next thing we're going to do is we're going to make the drawstring around the top. So what I like to do is I like to use a DK weight yarn, and I kind of measure it around the top of the bag. So I just put it underneath like that. You need to measure it whilst it's stretched out so that you know you have enough of a drawstring when it's open. So it's going to come down the middle like this, around the bag, and then down the middle again. And you want to leave a bit of a length at the front for the button and to make it easy to pull it closed. So I cut a length about that long. And what we're going to do is we're going to get our darning needle and just weave this DK weight in and out of the V-stitches. So we want to be working around the second row of V-stitches and weaving in and out. But first you need to pick a center point of the bag. So where you think you might want the center to be, kind of miss that space there and start weaving in and out from that point. So if I want this to be my center, I'm going to weave round the back first and then round the front of the V-stitches. So just continue all the way around until you get back to the middle. So there we go, we have our drawstring at the front. If you pull it, it should pull close like that, and it opens up really easy. So next thing you need to do is just weave it through your button. I like these round wooden buttons, but you can use anything you like as long as it has 2 holes in it. And then make a knot on the end. So that the button doesn't fall off. And that's it. It's easy to open and close. and it fits loads in. I love taking these with me shopping. It's so nice. And yes, we need to weave in the ends, or you could just cut them really short if you're not that bothered. It doesn't really matter, to be honest. But yeah, I love taking these with me shopping. Where I live, they like to, at the supermarkets, they like to put sticky labels on all the bags. And if I use plastic bags, they get stuck and then they rip, and I don't really like that. So I love taking these because the sticky labels just stick on and they come off really easy. I can wash them and they're natural and breathable, and I just really love them. So yes, please go make some. And let me know in the comments what you think, and if you have any questions, just let me know, I'll answer them for you. Please remember to like this video and subscribe to the channel for more patterns, and I'll see you next time.